USA. Yeah.
This is Car Bros Podcast, episode 48.
The big 4-8
Thank you.
coming up.
The big 48. It's never going to stop.
No,
It's never going to stop. We're now convinced. What's up? Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in.
to all 48 episodes.
So 48 episodes. I'm sure there's some.
If you've missed any of them, go back and listen to every single one of them.
They're all good.
I recommend 37. It's great.
Yeah. I'm more of a 26 kind of guy. Speaking of that, we can see the statistics for everything, obviously. And there's certain episodes that just get played more than others.
And we don't really know why.
Yeah, like the first live stream we ever did
Went big.
is the most played episode on iTunes.
Really?
Not on YouTube. Yeah, on iTunes. It's there's something about
That is weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
We need to go back and capture the magic.
Yeah, because it's not
of
like it was
that
any
first
better.
live stream.
I think it must have been the title or something.
Maybe.
I thought that was interesting. What's up to our patrons?
Sup?
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Thank you for being awesome. We appreciate that. And what's up to the rest of the fans? You guys are also listening.
Fine.
Okay, so I wanted to touch on a phenomenon that I just experienced, which is called your car seems to run better after you wash it.
Interesting.
Is this, do you notice that?
You're cleaning out all the pollutants? No.
I don't know. Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, I thought I was.
It flows through the air better.
Yeah.
'cause of-
Oh, I thought you guys would be like, totally.
no.
Well, I'm not saying it does,
But I'm not saying it doesn't.
Hold on, let me back way
Yeah,
off of my
yeah.
claim now that I have no support for it. I heard some dumb guy say this once, so maybe we could just rag on him.
Some idiot.
No, it's it feels to me like that first drive after you wash your car, it seems to run quieter and smooth. Am I just totally talking out of my ass?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Maybe because it's not as hot, now that it's summertime and
Maybe.
ambient temperature is cooler.
I honestly, here's why I think this could be a thing. Motor wise, I have no idea. That one doesn't make any sense. But it does seem to run.
I just spray the hose into my intake.
It seems to run
Clean
smoother.
stuff out.
I think what it is maybe washing all the dirt and crap off your car makes airflow over it smoother.
Possibly.
And so it's quieter.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask
Are you
NASA
immediately
about
getting
that.
up to highway speeds?
No, just man, please, somebody in the comments back me up on this. I thought we were gonna go off on this.
Yeah,
for
like a
10
scientific.
I thought we were gonna have to reel this back in because you guys were gonna agree with me. So,
But you guys do the thing when you wash your car, you take it around the block to get the water off. Do you guys do that?
No.
I
do.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll share two things with you. One, I do. And then it also sucks because you'll get hard water spots spraying all over the place and stuff. The other thing, oh God, this is so embarrassing to admit, but if you wash a car and then you lower the windows,
Oh, yeah.
All the water.
I hate that.
you get this gross
Right, yeah. Just that inch of
water stuff. Yeah. And so that's fine.
I drink that water.
But if you have a car without AC, I've done this before, I'll do the drive afterwards. They're baking because I don't want to lower the windows.
Yeah.
Which is so dumb. It's so dumb. You could fix that.
Well, I'm one of those people that even though it's so bad that people claim that, they do the drive-through car washes.
Oh, yeah.
I just have that monthly unlimited plan for the Jeep. And so once a week I'll just do it because I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to keep this car forever. If it gets...
You're just trash.
Yeah.
Human garbage.
Scum.
So many swirls on the white pearl paint. Yeah.
Speaking of AC, the other day I sent you guys a picture of a really clean Mark II Supra
Yeah.
that I saw
yeah,
driving. And, and it was it's hot as shit here right now. It's
Yeah.
105 degrees.
Here's that photo.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. It's nothing. No, it's a super clean,
Yeah.
all stock Mark II Supra. But it was the middle of the afternoon, and the guy was driving with the windows up,
Wow.
So like
AC had to
yeah.
function.
So I was driving by. I was like, I bet the air conditioning in that car works.
Yeah.
Or that guy's fucking like cooking himself to death.
Yeah, or both window motors are fucked up.
But I was just like, damn, AC works. Wow.
Yeah, that's always like an interesting, like I don't know. I judge people on that when it's crazy hot outside.
And they're still driving with the windows down.
Anyone with the windows down, it's
It's
like,
like, yeah, there you-
you should have
You
recharged
see
your
that
AC.
all over the time.
Yeah, because their AC doesn't work.
Yeah, that's why most like old cars
Yeah.
you see on highway
Yeah,
will have
they're
their
just
windows down.
on
but
the highway.
That guy did not.
It's like super easy. I did it in the Subaru. It's like the easiest thing to fucking do to recharge your AC.
Well, if that's all that's wrong with it.
True.
But yeah.
Probably on like an 80.
But usually it is like, because I don't know. I mean, the Subaru is the clutch won't engage if the pressure's too low, and so probably most people assume like, oh, my compressor's out because it doesn't even try to turn on.
But that's also one of the things that everyone puts in their ad, like on the AC.
Oh, yeah.
AC needs to be recharged.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most common. Just needs a recharge.
Yeah, I didn't do
I
it.
think what's wrong is
Someone else should do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spend the $40.
my guess is that if you leave it empty long enough, this is totally talking out my ass, but I'm assuming like maybe seals dry.
The O-rings are
or
super easy to
something.
change too.
Oh, there it is.
If I can go to Harbor Freight and buy like 100 pack of O-rings for like $1.
Yeah, we remember when we did the last live stream, we were talking about like most often broken shit on older cars.
Yeah.
And I was saying the power antenna.
Right.
Yeah.
And shit. And somebody said AC.
Yeah.
It's like,
Solid.
it's true. It's like a critical thing. And it's like,
At least on the West
frequently-
Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's
guess
true.
even on the East Coast it gets
Well, that's
humid.
right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just funny how often it doesn't.
No, it just doesn't work.
on
Yeah,
an old car.
sorry.
You just
Yeah.
assume it's not going to
I
work.
just live around it. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and my the first few cars I had didn't have AC because they were either like so old that they
Right.
didn't come with it,
Right.
Yeah.
or they for
So
whatever
far gone.
Yeah, for whatever reason didn't work.
It's like when I bought my van a couple months ago. It's like the AC works.
Yeah, it's like a big selling point. But I just got used to like driving on the highway with the windows down, like a sweaty back.
Yeah.
that's like your assumed posture
It's
of an
all
old
sticky.
car. Yeah, or like you'll get to where you're like rolling up to where you're gonna go, and you like lean forward to like assess how sweaty your back is. Like, ooh, that's not good. This thing is
Yeah, you don't notice it until
soaked.
until the contact between your back and the seat is
Yeah, this is
once
like-
a little air gets in that gap,
Yeah,
you're like, oh no.
It is swampy.
This is like connecting to my hamstrings. This
You're
is like a full.
You're kind of fusing together.
This
Yeah,
is
like
like
you
a
pull your legs and they start like.
this is a full thing.
I don't have that problem anymore because the Jeep has AC seats, so it
Yeah.
just keeps you cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised like how like reliable that motor is, considering like Garrett said, like it's like 105, some days even hotter than that.
Yep.
It's like a giant 6.4 liter V8
Yeah.
sitting in that temperature, and I have like the AC is like set to max.
Yeah.
And
cranking.
the like when I like get out of the car, you can hear the fan still blowing on the motor,
Right.
and it's like sounds like a fucking hurricane under there. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty nuts how well controlled the
Temperatures are.
The thermal management
Yeah.
on new cars, because like you'll go up the Grapevine, it's like it's like the
pretty-
bridge between
Central Valley.
California,
Yeah, and
Central
Southern-
Valley,
yeah.
like, and then Southern California. You have to pass through these
It's like 4,500 feet.
hills.
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, you go from like sea level to 4,500 back to sea level in like a half an hour.
And there's all these signs that are like, turn off your AC.
Yeah.
And like all those like.
Because they probably needed to.
Here's a
back in,
spot
like,
to pull
yeah,
over if you're
80s.
overheating.
Because it
Yeah.
used to just be like your shit would just overheat apparently all over the place.
Yeah.
And the ability to just idle with the AC on in like 105 degree weather.
Actually, speaking of the Grapevine and 105 degree weather, that was like the only time when I've really experienced like a big breakdown
Yeah.
in a car when I had my green Accord wagon.
Oh yeah.
And I was coming back from LA and it blew a radiator hose.
I remember that.
And it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Isn't that the moment you decided to like only own new cars?
Pretty much.
That's kind of how
Or
it
at least, like,
happened.
I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't want to fucking deal with this kind of
I'm
shit.
done. At that point in my life, I was
I was just
done.
like, I'll have a car payment.
yeah, I will rather have a car payment.
Because I had like, it was like, 20 miles from the nearest like service station.
Yeah, that
Right.
sucks.
And it's like, oh, fuck.
Even
Yeah.
with a cell phone, that sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a moment like anyone who, and I'm guessing a lot of our audience has, if you've ever been dumb enough to daily drive a kind of potentially unreliable car, or like young and poor enough, essentially.
Yeah.
Like you just, when you're younger, you often have something that's like not crazy reliable. getting a car that is crazy reliable after that,
You're
it's
like,
like a
wow.
life hack.
Yeah.
It's like a world you didn't know could exist.
Yeah.
To own a car that starts
It's a huge
every time you try
it's
to
a
go
weight
out and
off your
start.
shoulders.
Yeah, it's crazy that you no longer have to
Peace of mind.
think about your car exploding. Like it's a factor when you have a shitty car.
Yeah.
It's like this thing.
It doesn't even need to be like a shitty car. It just needs to be a car that's old enough to
just old enough to have issues.
stuff that's worn out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And then people always talk about like, I'm never going to have a car payment or I'll never buy a new car. And like, I'll just keep mine on the road. It's like, I mean, you can, and I guess it probably saves you some money, but there's still like the cost of like the thought,
Yeah.
like I have to constantly be thinking about this, which no one really talks about. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day though. Like I no longer do, but I used to work in an office environment, and there are certain people who just drive beaters.
Yeah,
like they're just down. And
committed.
I was one of them. I had a '98 Civic, and it was like there's a group of you. And this is not like, oh boy, we're really like scraping by. It's like these are well paid
They're just cheap,
people,
yeah.
and they choose to drive just like $1,000 cars, and just drive them into the ground because it's like just commuting to work.
Yeah, financially, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, that's totally what it was.
if you're like thrifty.
But it's pretty funny where there's people who have like something like reasonably nice and new.
Yeah.
And then other people who have like 96 Corolla with like the mirror falling off.
They're
and
making
shit.
like $200,000 a year.
Yeah, they just like they refuse to put any money into.
It's like it just wouldn't make sense. I did a spreadsheet and it wouldn't make
it's
sense.
100%.
All it is
buy a
just a
car.
tool to get you around.
Yeah, especially
and
like
if it still works.
if you have a reasonably short commute, it's like I mean, it's essentially a motorized like skateboard at that point. Just they don't care. They just don't give a shit. I always thought that was pretty cool. Like the people who do that kind of stuff. Mostly because I was one of them.
I thought I was pretty
Yeah, now you've upgraded to the luxurious 4Runner.
Yeah. Well, the 4Runner, like my thing now is I'm not against owning new cars. I'm not one of those people. But if I'm going to buy something used, it's going to be something that is known to be like crazy reliable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that may as well be new. It's so reliable. And then when I buy my new daily driver, like the Civic or now the 4Runner, I immediately go through and replace everything that is potentially a known problem
or
on
like
these.
coming to the end of its lifespan.
Yeah, like the 4Runner, like one of the big things, one of the only things those 4Runners have an issue with is the transmission cooler is part of the radiator, and it can, like the internals can degrade and the fluids will mix.
Yeah.
And you get this like pink, they call it the pink milkshake because the coolant will turn pink and like get gross essentially. It's like one of those sweet terms.
The old
Pink milkshake.
But it's just like any of the, and the ball joints, the like upper and lower ball joints.
It's like the red ring of death, like for 3 seconds.
Yeah, for Xbox.
Pink milkshake.
It was like those two things, and immediately when I got the car, I was just like, change all of it, change all the ball joints, and put a brand new OEM radiator in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like spend.
That way
it was
you won't be in the middle of Nevada and get pink milkshake.
Yeah, it's serious. It's like I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to feel like I'm driving something old and it could be unreliable.
But you also still had to think about it.
What do you mean?
You had to think about it like preemptively, but you still had to.
Once I bought the car,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
yeah.
like week one of owning the car. It's like I'm not going to wait for it to fail. I don't want that. I want the experience of this car as it essentially was new.
Right. But I mean, you still had to consider it. Like you did consider it before.
I had to, and I had to have the knowledge to do that.
Right.
But it's like that's how I prefer to own old cars. Not like I'm going to take a risk because like old Camrys tend to be. It's like no, give me that thing. I don't care how. I don't even care if it looks good. Replace it. Like, through the life of me owning this car, I don't want to think about the fucking radiator.
Right.
Because that's like not cool.
If something's going to go, that's going to be it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my new approach to
Your
used
mantra.
cars. Yeah, that's my new mantra. Buy an old car and dump a ton of money into maintenance. Anyways, the reason I originally brought up how good cars run after you wash them, which we've established is an observed phenomenon that we all agree on, is the other thing I was thinking about is when you do a repair on a car, like Like you'll be like, oh, I'm going to do like the spark plug, like maintenance or something, like air filter and spark plugs or whatever. And you do it. And when you're driving it, you're trying to like tell the difference, you know,
It worked.
you're like, I think it's running smoother.
Yeah.
You're like, I think the top end's like, it's got some more.
Yeah.
Cause the reality is it's probably like 0.5% better.
Right.
You know,
Even if it's just not a maintenance, like if it's a repair, like say you need to replace your radiator and you put a new one in, you're like, yeah, I think it's running cooler. I think the gauge is like a 32nd of an inch, a little lower.
Convince yourself. Because I think the thing is, like, part of it is parts are just so good.
Yeah.
Like you pull out your like laser iridium spark plugs.
Yeah.
Because they had 70,000 miles and they should be bad. Like the reality is they probably could have gone another 70.
Yeah.
You know, they're just so crazy good.
Better replace these.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna get on top of this and replace these. But the other part of that, or maybe it's part of the same point, is you can drive a car until it is so crazy fucked up before you actually need to replace something. Mm-hmm. Like when people are like, that CV, that axle's making a ticking noise. Like I better get it on the. It's like until you see. Like Top Gear was that was a good little window because they'd go to like third world countries where people are driving shit that like you'd think would have exploded. It's like, no, cars can put up with
Still going.
a lot of abuse. Like a lot of abuse. Like the boot on the CV axle can like come off.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, like there's no more grease in the axle.
Sounds fantastic.
And it'll like keep going. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's part of it is people consider parts to be worn out. Like when I had some bushings I changed in the M5 and they're fluid filled and they leaked. That's usually when they wear out. They'll crack and leak and the fluid will leak out. And the mechanic was like, you know, your front, whatever they were, control arm bushings are shot. They're leaking. I was like, damn, whatever. And I drove it for another like 10,000 miles.
It's fine.
With them leaking. And then I swapped them to upgraded ones. I put monoballs in instead of those. It was like barely a difference.
You're like driving it really hard.
Yeah, I was. I'm like cornering
it's a little bit better.
Oh, the steering feel like this. It's like, I think people's perception of worn out is like, it's like white collar worn out.
Yeah.
It's like first world worn out. You know?
I'm a little tired.
Yeah, it's like that part was probably still good for a ways. But yeah, I don't know. I just, I guess the summary of that topic is like when you do shit to cars and then convince yourself that you improved it.
Yeah. I made it better.
Yeah.
This needed to be done.
I will say one of the biggest ones though, and we've touched on this before, is tires. When you replace worn out tires, you're almost immediately like, why didn't I do that sooner?
Yeah.
It's just like the whole experience.
That's another
better.
thing that I've only done like maybe twice ever.
Yeah. Right.
It's just actually worn out a set of tires and like, well, I need to get new ones.
Right.
Like
yeah.
new.
Usually you just swap the wheels.
Right. It's like, well,
so
I
they
need to get like
yeah.
another set of these same tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I've done that once.
Right.
Yeah. I usually try to do that if I buy a new car that's not brand new,
Yeah.
which I never have. But like when I get a new car, if the tires are even like questionable, I usually put new ones on. Because like I want to enjoy,
along with custom rims, of course.
I want to enjoy the biggest, narrowest rims that I can get. Okay, so semi-related to properly repairing a car. I think this is more common on older cars, especially like carbureted stuff.
Yeah.
Because like the tuning,
The more carburetors, the better.
yeah. Well, just like the tuning of older cars was very mechanical and like kind of black magic-y,
Right.
you know, or now it's like, I don't know, the computer. But just how people, some people, enthusiasts, you might say, when a car's like running kind of rough or like not running right, your first course of, like on a computer, it's like something's wrong with the computer. The first course of action is like restart it.
Yeah.
Like restart the computer, see if that fixes it. The first course of action with like an older car that isn't running right is like rev it.
Yeah.
Stand down.
Take it to its max.
Rev it really hard.
It's just not warm yet.
Clear it out.
Yeah, because you assume it's like a human model in your head. So you just got some phlegm.
Yeah. Just need to clear it
Just
out.
needs to clear its throat. And so you'll see people in parking lots like revving shitty cars and they're like smoking and stuff. It's like, because I think it might actually, I'm wondering It might actually fix some stuff. Well, anyways, where I was going with this is it is a thing.
Yeah.
The Italian TuneUp, which these days I wonder if that's an offensive term. It sounded a little weird saying it. The whatever Eastern Bloc, Euro Asian, whatever TuneUp. But I think like older cars would not get driven enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
You'd have to open them up.
You probably get a little carburetor buildup.
Yeah, there's probably some buildup. Carl can fill it in.
Yeah.
What's up, Carl?
If you'd like, what's up, Carl?
Read his comment. It'll probably be pretty lengthy.
Yeah, if you'd like the technical explanation of why the Italian tune-up works, read the footnotes, which are Carl's comments to this podcast. But it used to be a thing where people would bring in their car and it wasn't running right, and the mechanic would just like drive it really hard.
Okay, I cleared out.
No, I don't think.
It sounds good to me.
Okay, I take her around the block. It's all good.
I don't think that's why it's called the Italian tune-up.
I beg to
I
differ.
think it's Italian cars.
I take a Ford Taurus around the block. It's running very good.
But it's like you still kind of try to do that even on new cars. Like, oh, it's misfiring. Like,
Yeah.
I bet I can fix this. Just fucking stand on it, and then it'll be like,
Reactivate launch control.
it'll be like misfiring at high RPM. I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
I think it's getting better.
Sounds different.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I would say is a thing. I don't know about the car wash thing, but the Italian tune-up is proven.
I'll give you that one.
There's a few tricks.
Yeah.
A few tips and tricks that you come across
Let Luigi take a car around the block.
when you're into cars. You start learning a few of these tricks, and one of them is just drive the shit out of the car if it's not running right. That's an M5 thing. Like people will. There are like multiple posts where people are like, does anyone else notice this car runs better after a track day? Like,
Clear it out.
Like, is that a thing I'm noticing? And people are like, yeah, it does. I don't know what it is. I don't know if like the seals get sucked into place more and you like close vacuum leaks or something, or if it's just like carbon buildup.
The wind knocks stuff back into place.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
But I mean, all race cars almost are kind of like that.
What?
Like they run like shit when you're you're driving like an actual, or you see like an actual race car.
Yeah, they only work
when they're
well.
like trying to drive from the pits, like to the track's like.
That's more of like a low speed, low
but it's like
cam
it's
tuning.
like they're just not really made to drive like when you're not racing.
Those are always sweet. I better warm it up. It's like revving in the pits.
They're like super hard to like shift into like the clutch and stuff. Like,
they're
just
all
smoothly
bouncy and stuff. I love that. I love watching people try to maneuver race cars like in the pits and work their like binary clutches and stuff. They'll like kill it shifting into second.
Yeah, they're like trying to like 3-point on some like super wide slicks.
Yeah, with like a 7-liter V8 that like barely wants to idle and stuff.
Remember, like we were watching like the old F1 cars.
Yeah.
Last year at Monterey. And there's like a couple that like went off the track for whatever reason. And I don't even think they were like crashed. It's like, no, I can't really like move it. Like I can't like turn it back onto the track. I need to wait for the tow truck to come.
Yeah, because they'd like half spin.
Yeah.
And then it's like
it's not like they could just like back it up and like, oh, just pull it
it's
back
just
onto
like,
the truck.
nah, fuck this. Yeah,
my race is over.
They probably like don't even have a reverse.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know if those F1 cars have reverse.
If they could, they like don't have the muscle to turn their like giant like oak barrel slick wheels. Yeah, that stuff's pretty
Just do a U-turn.
Yeah. Okay, so this may be the last time it comes up. We're gonna have to send this topic off.
Right.
It's been a popular one. The Cobalt Theory. And we may revisit it at some time in the future.
Probably next week.
Garrett's gonna have to like write a dissertation or something on this.
Yeah,
documenting everything.
Go back.
Yeah.
This really lit the audience up. We've seen some good debate. It's getting a little contentious down there.
Yeah. Not only is the debate on like what cars fall into it, but like the debate of like what the actual theory is.
Yeah.
Like what defines this theory.
Yeah, I think people have done a good job of like helping us
narrow it down.
So what do you have some of the other people's entrance to this?
I know I saw one, I think it was Lena, said Mercury Sable.
Yeah, 2003 Mercury Sable, which that crossed my mind.
My neighbor literally has like that exact car.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
And you just forgot that he had it, probably.
No, I see it every day.
No, I know, but
wow.
It's that boring that you forgot.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid entry. That did cross my mind when I was thinking of Rogue the other week. I was like, man, how am I gonna hit him with
Mercury Sable?
Yeah, there are a few. Somebody else said like 05 Focus, I think.
Oh yeah.
That was one.
That's this Focus is a good one because I think. I was around then like 05. Like, you remember the first Focus was like really good.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time it was good, like 2000.
It's considered.
It was like a very like European, like next generation car. And then whenever that, like 04, 05, maybe a little bit later than that, when they went to like the next gen.
Yeah.
Like, I think like Europe got like a totally new, like good one. Really? And then America's just like, no, let's like make the original one more American.
Yeah.
So they just like made it worse.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's kind of a common theme where I feel like companies will do something really good, and then I suspect they don't know what made it good.
Yeah.
Because they'll just inevitably fuck it up.
Like, what if we make this like more suited to America?
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, if you liked that, you'll love what we do next. It's like,
and then the next generation, like, no, we're going back to the other one.
Whatever that was, it must have been a fluke. Yeah.
Yeah, that car definitely deserves some recognition for being... Like,
they
like went out of its way to be better. Like, we can. What if we made this a little worse?
Yeah. I feel like we're at the point with this topic where it's hard to decide. It's getting a little personal.
It's mere fraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring one to the table. You'll never guess. It's from 2007.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kia Spectra.
Well, okay.
The Spectrum.
I think the fact that we both sort of giggled when you said that, is enough to like bump it from the top.
What?
Because if you said like go to Kia Spectra,
I guess
like we would be laughing.
Do they even still make the Spectra?
I don't know. I refuse to put that in my search history.
I'm not gonna look.
I refuse to give Google that information.
The thing is, though, if you saw this, I would mistake it for a Cobalt.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
they're almost, twins.
Yeah.
Doppelgangers of each other.
Yeah, Carl had said, Carl B.
What's up, Carl?
Patreon. Yeah, sup, Carl. In the Patreon feed, he had said Saturn Sky.
Yeah.
And he was like, I drove one and I hated it so much that I walked away thinking the Cobalt was better.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm sure it's a shitty car, but part of this is like the fact that you hated it so much makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's an achievement that they made a car that's so bad.
Inspires such emotion.
Yeah. Right. Like immediately shot it down. I think part of this too, like I was kind of thinking about it. Here is an add-on to the theory that I am tentatively calling Schrodinger's shitbox. And I just like the name, although I don't think this is actually what Schrodinger's cat was. But just by talking about the Cobalt so much, we've made it interesting.
That's true.
Yeah.
By observing it.
We shine some light.
Yeah, we've changed its state by viewing it.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's no longer.
Yeah. Like I think we said that a couple weeks ago. Like Garrett now notices them on the street all the time.
Yeah.
Like takes pictures of them.
Now they're interesting because they're so
I've
boring.
harmed my own.
You've knocked it down a couple spaces to where the true Cobalt Theory winner is something we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
Because through the act of observing the thing, we made it more interesting. Yeah, there are a few of them on there.
I had. Oh, go ahead. Is there more?
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, it's hard to pick.
Oh,
it's
a little bit left field.
Okay.
But it's also from the same 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
But Ford Mustang V6 of that era.
Is that the first retro one?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
The
like roughly. Yeah.
New Edge.
Because that, like, on paper, like, it's not a bad car.
Fair.
I mean, it's a Mustang. It's still like a rear-wheel drive.
Right.
Sporty.
Yeah.
But those things suck pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. But
That was back when, like, the V6 was, like, really bad.
yeah.
Here is an image.
Well, I'm sure everyone knows what this guy looks like.
So you're just trying to talk yourself out of doing work, bro. Here's that image.
Here's like 20 images.
Here's that image again. Here's a different one. Yeah, those are pretty bad.
Because I think those things.
But the thing about that, though, is you could be mistaken to be a GT, though.
Yeah, but in a way, that's almost worse.
Maybe. I feel you. Kudos for coming up with something.
But like,
It's a little different.
Say you're going on a date and you drive up and the girl gets in that car. She's not going to know if it's the V6 or the V8.
It's true. She'll know if it's a Daewoo Legato. She'll know. He drives a Mustang. Yeah. So Keith Bruner.
What's up, Keith?
What's up, Keith? He wrote this out for us, and I think if anyone wants to continue this after the fact, here's your instruction manual. You arrive at the airport, rent a car. The associate at the counter hands you the keys to a blank. You walk outside and see an ocean of cars parked like neat little rows of corn. You walk to the first aisle, clicking the key fob as you go. Even though you hear the horn beep, you walk past your blank the first time. You hadn't even noticed it was there. You turn back to give the car once over. Your soul does not stir. You do not smile. I forgot blank even made these, you mutter to yourself. You glance at the rental associate for assurance. This is the correct car, and he gives you a subtle nod. You climb in and drive away. A half hour later, you arrive at your hotel, recalling nothing from the drive other than the drone of the tires on the highway. As you hand your keys to the valet and turn away, you've already forgotten what kind of car you drove there in. You don't even recall certain color it was. Beige, champagne, silver. You clutch your valet ticket, fearing the car may disappear forever in the sea of bland if you were to lose it. You just experienced the blank theory. What are you driving? That's pretty solid. Yeah.
That's a good way.
That's a pretty good way to. I think we've come quite a ways in like understanding the phenomenon that we're trying to describe. So like, there it is. Just call it the Keith theory.
Yeah,
just fucking named it. Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways,
my thesis.
One thing this did get us thinking about is, first of all, the mid 2000s were a fucking weak era, apparently.
Except for Subaru STIs.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like it's true though.
Yeah.
Performance wise, it sucked.
Yeah.
But a lot of these entries were American, like compact American sedans.
Or at the very least, they were from other companies, but designed for the
Basically
American
competing.
Yeah.
They were companies thinking about making compact American flavored sedans. And they're just crazy boring and forgettable.
Yeah.
But notice that none of them we've said are like they're unreliable.
No.
Or like they're shitty.
If
or
they're
slow.
if they're unreliable, they by nature you wouldn't.
They wouldn't be on the list. And so it's like there's just incredibly boring American flavored cars from this era. And it turns out American companies are pretty good at that flavor, at making boring as shit stuff. And one thing I have heard, I'm not sure if this is true, but I'm just going to share it. I've heard that's desirable, or at least it was at one point, for a large cross section of like workers in kind of middle America, where driving something that you stand out in is frowned upon, and so you actually want something that doesn't really like create a lot of whatever. I've heard that as a defense for why American cars are so boring, but they're super good at making boring cars.
Right.
We can agree on that. They're good at making forgettable, offensively boring cars. But one thing that like it's kind of a cliche, but German car companies are pretty good at making equally as worthless cars, but because they're so like finicky and unreliable, and like they don't really get enough shit for that.
No,
like they don't really get. It's kind of like a joke.
Yeah,
but it's like, especially when you hear people say, like, "Hey, no one makes a bad car. Like any car is gonna, It's like, I know Germans have made some pretty bad cars.
Yeah,
pretty fucking recently.
Yeah, and they still kind of do. Like they're still like in the shop for like that kind of thing. Oh, we bought an Audi and like, that thing was in the shop.
Especially around the same area, like 2007. Like that's when they were like at their peak unreliable. Like even brand new ones.
Yeah, you just like you wouldn't want to own a compact American sedan from that era because it's so boring, and you equally wouldn't want to own some compact German,
or even a fucking flagship.
Yeah, especially a flagship.
Yeah, like the 7 Series, like a 2007 7 Series is like $3,000 now.
Yeah, you can literally find those things for $3,000.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, no, BMW or I guess German companies in general don't get enough shit for making like actually bad. Like No, you don't want to own that. Like, who says that about any other car?
Yeah.
Who else makes a car from 05?
Yeah.
It's like, you do not want to go fucking near that thing.
Do not
like,
buy that thing.
It's like, this was an expensive car.
Yeah, it was like a $70,000 car.
Like, are you that fucking bad? Like, how are you so bad at this?
Well, the thing that frustrates me about that is it's not like, oh my God, their craftsmanship is just like, it used to be. It was like German engineering, though, and sometimes they would favor complex solutions to problems over like tried and true.
Right.
And that's one thing where it's like, yeah, but like shit.
It wasn't
like,
really made to last on purpose.
It was more. It was just like you didn't need to make it that confusing to solve that problem, and then it breaks, and it's like, why did they solve it this way?
Yeah,
like that was one flavor, but the new one is just like, why did they use plastic on the like turbo impeller? You know, like it'll be like stupid shit. Yeah. It'll be like dumb cost cutting.
Yeah,
where it's like, this isn't in the name of fancy German engineering. This is just cheap bullshit that like was not built to last in a stupid way, like radiator tanks exploding and shit. Like cooling systems on German cars are like notoriously underbuilt and underdesigned. It's fucked up. That stuff's stupid.
Yeah, I don't think they get enough. They don't get their fair enough share.
Yeah, they get like, it's like a joke. Well, German cars are like, it's like electrical gremlins. And it's like, stop doing that. Like, fucking knock it off. Make shit that's more reliable.
Like, imagine if that was a fucking like airplane, like a jet, like an airliner. Who wants to deal with an Airbus?
Yeah, I wonder if that'll change moving forward, because
I would assume so.
There is just not a clear differentiation between like, well, German quality.
Yeah.
It's like, sit in a new Hyundai, like higher end Korean car. It's like, this is blow for blow with German shit at this point.
Yeah.
Like maybe not like an S class or something. But it's no longer like, oh, but a German.
You're driving something.
Close the door on a German car. It's like, it's not that anymore. So I don't know. I feel like they need to kind of get their shit.
I wonder what the fucking like engineers of that. What was it? What's the shitty 7 series?
E65 or something.
Whatever, like the 04, 05.
Yeah.
Right. Like, wonder what the fucking guy that like engineered, like, I really did bad.
I suspect in most things, an engineer's defense here, like, typically it's not the engineer's fault,
but it's not like,
it's people forcing them to solve a problem for cheaper than they would like to solve,
even though the car is like already a flagship.
Yeah, because it's just like, you can design something to. It's not like, whoops, I would have thought plastic would have held it together. It's like, it's rarely.
But that seems like a weird car to like cost cut on, but I guess they do it on everything.
Well, that one, I don't know what the specific problems are.
We need to get Dieter or whatever.
My brother had one, and I know he had his transmission replaced.
I was gonna
twice.
say, I know the transmissions and that stuff is like,
which is
funky.
It's just a transmission.
Didn't do so good.
Yeah, I think
is that your German accent?
I'm not sure what that was.
It's just my ear.
That was something. It was not American. That's about as far. I don't know if that was the mechanic or the designer. I'm going to save you from taking I think it's always like, I feel bad because it's common for people to be like, what the fuck were the engineers thinking? And it's like, just in my limited experience, it's usually not the engineers. It's the people putting constraints on them.
Yeah.
And they're usually just as pissed off as you are. Because it's like, I made this thing and it could have been awesome.
Yeah.
And you forced me to like pull cost out with cheaper O-rings and shit. Like stuff like that. Like $1.50 for a seal. Like, get that down to like,
we should get the lead engineer.
30 cents. Yeah, I'd love to get some like veteran in the car industry to talk about all the shit that goes wrong inside of it. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. It's a joke that German cars are unreliable, but I guess they get away with it because they're just leased.
Yeah,
it's just like, it is a reality of planned.
They're not built to be like a rock. They're like a Chevy truck.
There's just not. You could just make more money by not making it reliable past 10 years. Or something like. Why would you?
Well, it also goes back to thing like, what if you're a car company? Why do you even want people owning your car for 10 years? Like,
you don't. I mean, in some ways they are like, we're giving them shit. But from their point of view, they are exactly tuning their product.
Right.
Like,
So-
why would I spend more to make it reliable?
This thing turns to
past-
shit after
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, it's like it's got a 5-year warranty.
Yeah, if like 80% of their sales are leases, then
It literally is. I read that 80% of new BMWs
Yeah,
are leased.
that makes sense.
80. So it's like they don't give a shit. They sold it.
Yeah.
The thing is
yeah.
sold.
Well, technically, I guess they have to sell it once someone turns in a lease. Don't they have to sell it
Well,
as a used
sure.
car?
I just mean like
Yeah.
beyond 5 years.
Right.
It's
They
like,
still make their initial.
as long as there are people who demand their products brand new.
Yeah.
And are willing to use whatever financial tool.
Yeah. Well, they're
will give them
they're
that
still like
product.
technically sold just to a leasing company.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there is an argument there that they just don't give a shit.
Why would they put the extra?
Why would you? That's wasted.
Well, like
money,
when have you ever
essentially.
heard any German or European company talk about like how long lasting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like 90% of all 7 Series are still on the road?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff, part of the problem, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but like the reason, especially the 60s stuff, it's like the reason older cars are still on the road is because they didn't have the advances in plastics
Yeah.
that they did. And so it's like they would have loved to make that shit out of plastic, but they couldn't. So it's all metal.
Right.
And so you can restore it back to
Yeah.
to
Original,
whatever.
pretty much.
Yeah, or it's just like it's simpler or whatever. It's like newer stuff. I really worry. Like it's kind of a common complaint, but the amount of just like turbos and like high density engine packaging and heat and stuff like that on new cars, it's like fuck, you're not gonna want to.
Yeah. Like how's all that going to hold up?
You're not gonna fix that stuff. Like keep that stuff on the road for long. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. Here's a topic that we don't really have someone to like play the other side of this one. I guess John.
Yeah, I'll take the role.
The resident squid.
Yeah, John's the squid of the group. I think it is only California where lane splitting in motorcycles is legal.
There might be a couple other places, or like more recently, it's become.
I don't know. I just know everyone is very surprised that it is legal in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised because I've fucking seen it so often.
Right. Well, even if you saw it,
Yeah.
you still might not think it's legal. But yes, it is legal.
Only California.
Okay.
The only state it's legal, which is like the craziest state for it to be
Since
legal.
it's the state that has the most regulations.
It
usually.
must be, it must be like cops are into bikes. I feel like a lot of our motorcycle like lax laws are because like,
Do other states even have motorcycle cops?
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I've never seen a motorcycle cop.
Yeah. I think they do.
I'm pretty sure.
That
Okay.
seems,
Carl.
All right, yeah.
check the footnotes of this podcast. If you'd like more information on all the shit that we're wrong
Because,
about.
like in the Midwest, obviously they couldn't ride in the wintertime, or you wouldn't want to.
They have like tractors,
Yeah. Snow tires.
bikes. They either ride on horseback or motorcycle. I'm not sure, but it is legal here, and it's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty because it's not when you lane split, and I'm sure everyone knows what this is, even if you're not from California. It's like you'll be driving, and the place where it happens is traffic.
Yeah,
So you're moving at like
5.
10,
Yeah.
5, 10, 15
Stopping
miles an
and-
hour, relatively slow traffic. And then there'll be a motorcycle going like double the flow
Yeah.
of
Going
traffic
like 40.
on the line, like
Yeah,
splitting
in between the two
lanes
cars,
in
yeah.
between two cars.
Well, technically, you can get a ticket for that.
why?
The
That's too fast?
rule is you shouldn't be going 10 miles an hour more than the flow of traffic.
Oh, really?
That's the law. Obviously, how the hell?
Sure.
Like only another motorcycle cop could pull
Well,
you
it's
over.
still like they're moving so fast where it's not like, oh, can I split? Okay. Can
Yeah.
I split? Okay. It's just like you are splitting cars so fast
Yeah.
that like I'll sometimes see them coming and I'll try to give them room.
Right.
But every fucking time I see a motorcycle coming, it's like, I just don't want to watch you eat shit
Yeah.
on one of these cars. And they're not going to be moving fast enough to where they're going to die.
They're just gonna get
just going
fucked
to
up.
They're
explode
gonna flip
someone's
over.
side
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's bizarre to me that it's still legal here. I'm sure people on bikes love it.
Yeah, especially in like LA.
Yeah, because I've never seen a motorcycle like not choosing to do it.
Yeah. Just
They're not
Yeah.
like,
sitting in traffic behind you.
like walking their bike in traffic. Like they all do it. So it's
I don't
kind
know
of
if it
amazing.
originated because like I'm pretty sure a lot of a lot of motorcycles, like Harleys and stuff, are air cooled.
Yeah, I think it was a cool.
I know like sports bikes have radiators and stuff, like
can't just
fans.
sit there.
But
yeah, fair enough. But
But the crazy thing is, like, when you're in a car and in traffic, like, you're fucking out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the last thing you're looking at is something coming behind you
Right,
when
yeah.
you're in like
stopping.
I mean,
bumper to
watch for
bumper traffic.
motorcycles.
yeah,
or
let me
it's
keep your eye on your mirrors.
Yeah, for some
You're
tiny,
going like 3 miles an hour.
for some spec. yeah, you're like struggling to stay awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I took that safety course before I got my motorcycle license, and they say it's not advised to do it when the flow of traffic's over 30 miles an hour. Right. But it's like, it's just not advised. It's not like, you can still do it. Like traffic's going 70, you could cut through them going 80.
They do sometimes. Every once in a while, you just get someone's
really going for it.
past you at like 100 on a bike. I mean, honestly, every time I see something like that, every time I see a car or a bike blow past me, all I'm thinking in my mind is like, please don't fucking die in front of me. Like, I really don't want to watch you die. Because I've seen it before. I've seen someone fly past me on the highway and then crash and spin their car.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, part of it's selfish. It's like, don't make me wait or have to be the one to call 911. You know, or like scrape you off the side of the road or whatever. It's like, I don't want to have to deal with this. It's just like,
it's funny because when I got my motorcycle, I was still living in like the Sacramento area up with you. And when I first got it, I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just crazy.
Lane splitting.
Yeah, lane splitting. I was just like, it's too dangerous. It's not like I didn't trust myself. I just didn't trust other people to change lanes without looking and stuff like that. Yeah. And then about a week later, I just fucking started doing it because I'm like, I'm not fucking waiting for these people.
I assume you would.
Yeah.
Anytime there's like an opportunity,
especially like at a red light, you know, there's like traffic, like 20 cars deep. You just go all the way to the very front, and then the light turns green, and you can accelerate way faster than everyone else.
Yeah, I recently started biking to work, bicycling. And the amount of rules I follow, because you're technically on a wheeled vehicle.
Right. Yeah, you're not supposed to go on sidewalks.
You're essentially supposed to follow the rules of the road.
Yeah.
And I just like so don't.
Yeah.
It's crazy how illegal I ride that thing. Where it's just like, it'll even be like the intersection's red. I'm at a red light, and it's like, I'm just going.
Yeah.
Like
there's no cross traffic. I'm going.
Yeah, I'll just go. Or I treat myself as a pedestrian. Like when
the crazy thing is, like, I understand that like cyclists have have the right of way.
Yeah.
Or they're supposed to be seen.
Yeah.
But the fucking like arrogance that some of them have.
I feel it now that I'm on a bike.
But I mean, like, the only ones that are going to get hurt is them.
Yeah.
Like I remember a couple weeks ago, we were driving on a highway, not like a interstate, but just like where you're probably going 60. And there was like a cycle, like a guy on like a road bike.
Yeah.
And he like pulled off of a street and turned right, like in front, like to go in, I don't know if it was a bike lane, but just to ride on the side of traffic.
Yeah.
And he like didn't even fucking look over to the left before he went over to the, this is like we saw him and like stayed out of his way, but like, he's just assuming like he's making the leap of faith that whoever is coming saw him and is not just going to plow into him and instantly fucking kill him.
Dude, it's bizarre because now that I'm riding a bike, I do that. Like I'll be on the road and be like, move, like car.
Right.
Like you're in a car, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like I get mad when people fuck up stop signs and I have to get off my bike and stuff. Yeah. Like I'm immediately just like, fucking work around me. You're in a car.
Right.
I'm out here doing work. And as soon as I'm in a car, I'm like, I'm going to kill you accidentally.
Yeah.
Like, stop being so stupid. Like, it's just this weird.
But it's like, I see you, but like, how do you know the person that is going to fucking see you? Like, I guess a motorcycle is sort of the same way. You're kind of putting your
a little bit
your fate in the hands of.
Yeah, but at least, I mean, on a motorcycle, most motorcycle riders, they're wearing all the protection, whereas a cyclist is wearing a little tiny helmet. He's not wearing body pads and shit like that.
I don't even wear a helmet.
I usually
fucking freeballing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like on a road bike. I'm still just commuting to work.
Because even our friend Nathan, the guy that's working on the Fieri, he has like an adventure bike. Is that what they're called?
What is it?
It's kind of like not a dirt bike, but like it's like a road bike.
It's called like a twin something.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, but like he like takes it up to the mountains and like rides like trails and rocks and shit like that. But he was like, the most dangerous part is just riding to get there.
Yeah.
It's not
dealing
like
with the traffic.
Yeah, like the the climbing rocks and stuff is not the dangerous part.
Yeah.
It's the like
Being on the
riding up there
road.
on the highway to get there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Dual something.
Dual sport.
Dual sport. There it is.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah.
That shows how much we know about
Yeah.
two wheels.
Yeah, I've heard that word.
Well, it's fun. Like you guys, I don't know if you know who Nicky Hayden is.
No.
He was an American like MotoGP racer, and he died a couple years ago. But he was like a 2006 MotoGP championship and did like MotoGP for years. Fell off his bike hundreds of times, probably broke hundreds of bones,
Yeah.
and he was killed on a bicycle.
Yeah,
when he was
somewhere in Europe,
training
right?
in Europe. Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous, partly because of the arrogance of cyclists, but also not 100%.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's
just
like
how
a lot of-
how
a lot
out
of
of it
our-
most drivers are.
Yeah, it's like a double whammy. But I do enjoy it. Now that I'm on a bike, I was so against it for so long. Then I got a bike. I was like, this is amazing. I hate driving now. Short distances.
Right.
Short distances.
Takes you back to when you're like 10 years old.
Dude, it's just great. It's just like, you don't have to think about parking.
I'd always ride my bike down to like Blockbuster Video.
Yeah. It's very freeing.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I got my license all over again. Okay, so speaking of being out of it in traffic, something we were talking about when we were wrapping up a previous podcast off screen. I'm surprised we haven't talked about it before, but like falling asleep driving.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, we've all been there. Look, we've all taken a little snooze on the highway. Come on, you get tired. It's boring. What? I'm only human.
Get a few winks.
Come on, give me winks. Hit a cyclist or two.
Just resting my eyes.
No, it's like just how like you will find yourself in situations where it's like, I should be in bed. I'm crazy tired.
But I'm driving.
But I have to drive like an hour or something. I have to do this extremely boring task where I sit and I stare at
A straight line.
a repetitive pattern.
Yeah.
This like soothing repetitive pattern.
And if I fall asleep, I'll probably die.
But I will die. And like one thing we were laughing about is like if you're road tripping and the other people are like, well, I'm gonna sleep. Like if you don't mind, like, I'm gonna sleep.
Or they'll like say that they're not going to sleep.
Yeah, I'll stay up with you, and you look over at them, and they're just fucking like, yeah, okay. So they're like doing the thing you are like wanting to do next to you,
Or you should be doing.
or you
Maybe like,
really should be.
I'd be like, sorry, I'm on a diet. And then like, oh, we have a dozen donuts. Like we're all going to eat
yeah,
one.
they're all eating around you. So it's just like you're just like chilling in a car with like sleeping people, which is even more dangerous. Now their lives are in your hand. But like the things that you will do to keep yourself awake too, you're just like hitting yourself and stuff, or like cold AC, like singing along to the radio
Super
or whatever,
loud.
like any of that stuff. It's like that is one of the less talked about advantages to self-driving cars or like autopilot or whatever.
Being able to take a nap.
Just like fucking go to bed. Like just go to bed. That has to be worse. I think I would rather be awake but drunk than like dead tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially like on the verge of blacking out constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrifying. It's like it's terrible. Like the side of the road will wake you up.
Yeah.
It's like this is not good. Like I should pull over and sleep. And I mean, there are probably people listening who are like, pull over and sleep. It's like,
I wonder how many
shut the
people
fuck up. Yeah, you pull over and sleep. No, it's just like you just,
It's only 45 minutes till my real bed.
yeah, it's
I
like
can push through this.
for whatever
Power
reason
through.
you don't. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird struggle.
Yeah.
That I feel like almost everyone has a story about.
But I haven't driven late at night in a very long time.
Yeah,
Like since like college years, probably.
It just happens every once in a while. It's
For
like
me,
you'd
it's more like
not
when
to.
you wake up fucking early and then you're
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I'm usually, once I'm awake, I'm awake.
Right.
Yeah, I've done a few where, I mean, you try not to. Ideally, you do not want to be in this situation.
And it always seems to me that you're always the most tired when you're going home.
Yeah.
Not when you're like, I'm going somewhere.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
right.
going on vacation or
Yeah.
wherever. But it's like, all I have to fucking look forward to is like getting back home.
Yeah, especially if it's like long trip. And
Yeah.
You're just like, you're all dirty and like you're hiking or something. and
Yeah.
A bunch of people sleeping.
Don't mind.
Oh, I'm just going to like knock out here. Fuck. Yeah, one time in college, I was on the Formula SAE team, which is like this little engineering project where you make a like scale-sized Formula car with like a CBR motor.
Yeah.
And we had gone to, there was a competition in, I forget where, Irvine or something. I think it was like SoCal. And so it's like driving this like F-250 with a trailer and like 4 guys in it or something. And like almost falling asleep. It's like, this is so bad. This is so bad. There's so much at stake here. But it's kind of not like for all of the, I wonder what the statistics are for drunk driving versus tired driving.
I think it's kind of hard. I think because tired driving is hard to
it's hard
measure.
Like you would never be like,
there's no like
sorry,
test.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, there's no like, there's no test for you were tired.
Yeah, that's true.
You're 4 times over the legal time.
Yeah, like that's what I
need to catch some Z's.
Yeah, we'll arrest you after you wake up. Yeah, I don't know, but it does happen.
Off topic, but do you guys ever get pissed off? You know, you always hear these reports about like sleeping, and like all they do is talk about like how good sleep is for you.
Yeah, it's great.
Like for your health, but it's like
I sleep a lot.
Yeah, but they're always like, man, if you can get like 10 hours of sleep,
yeah,
it's just like awesome for your health, for like everything. It's like, yeah, I fucking want to sleep for 10 hours.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, oh yeah, like I don't sleep 10 hours because I don't want to.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sold.
Yeah.
I think
it's like, who wouldn't want to fucking sleep for
I think I'm going to continue getting less sleep than I need, despite the evidence. Like, fuck that.
It's not even like eating bad where like at least like it tastes good or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's just like,
no, I just love waking up too early.
I just love getting like 4.5 hours of sleep.
That'd be sweet if that was like an excuse for work. Be like, sorry, boss, I just really need to get my 10 hours. My health depends on it.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
They're so much more effective when you sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, I go to bed at 11. I set the alarm for 3. I just can't help it.
Yeah.
It feels so good. It feels so good to be sleep deprived. Yeah, I'm very sensitive to not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
So like I'm one of those people who does, like I probably get like 8 or 9 a night.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I'm assuming other people are like this. If I have a day where I'm tired, like that whole day is pretty much worthless. It's not like, well, the morning was rough, but it's just like the whole day is wrecked essentially. Like I'm just not going to be
tip top shape.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you get 14 hours of sleep, your health will be
essentially
incredible?
We should just all be house cats and just fucking sleep.
Did you know if you lower your stress, it's good for you? Like, wow. Thanks for doing this research.
I feel like there's some clickbait ads on there.
Did you know that if you go hiking for 30 miles every week, your health will
Did you know if you exercise? Yeah. In a study of 60,000 people, it turned out that sleeping was healthy. Ooh, wow.
Shocking.
Science is amazing. Thank you.
Let me just quit my job so I don't have to fucking wake up.
This just in. Doing a thing that's obviously healthy is healthy. Okay. And finally, this is kind of car related. I was going to say we're going to end on an off topic note. But
no, it's automobile. Car culture.
This is automobiblia. Drive-through
people
lines.
that fucking wait in a fucking drive-through,
crazy long drive-through lines,
like 30 cars deep.
What the fuck is up
around
How fucking lazy can you be?
In-N-Out is like this. If anyone listening has the pleasure of living in a state that has In-N-Out in it, In-N-Out's drive-through line will back the fuck up like crazy.
Yeah, there's the one near my house. It'll like back up so far that it goes like out onto the street.
Yeah, it'll like disrupt traffic.
And
same
like,
the one here. Yeah,
and like people that are trying to go to like other places in the same shopping center, their cars will be boxed in.
Yeah, they like can't get in or out. Or like when the drive-through line cuts in front of your car and you can't leave. You're trying to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then you'll look inside and there's like not really a lot.
Yeah, sometimes every once in a while I'll go to In-N-Out around lunchtime and there'll be like 30 fucking cars sitting in line in the drive-thru, and I'll just drive past all of them and park. And then I always like look, I'm like, okay, there's like see that Tahoe right there that like pulled in about the same time
I always try to make like direct eye contact with them so they see me.
So they fucking know.
They fucking know I'm going to walk inside, order my food.
Yeah, you'll go and order, you'll get your food, and then you'll drive past. They're like almost getting up to the part where they order. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then people that fucking talk about like it's bad for the environment. Like how about idling? The fucking people just sitting in their car for 15, 20 minutes because they don't want to get out and fucking walk 100 feet.
Yeah, I am often surprised though in those situations. What frustrates me is you'll go and order inside. There's no line. You order, but then it takes way longer than it should
because
they're
drive-thru.
prioritizing the people who are like spilling out into the intersection and shit, which makes sense to me. But yeah, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess it's just laziness. I guess
I don't know.
I've done it before. I've done it before a few times. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the rationale is.
Just like, I don't want to get out.
I don't want to. Yeah. I don't know. I'm like enjoying the podcast I'm listening to.
The only time I've done it is a couple times when I've had like my son in the car.
Because it's just inconvenient.
It's just like I don't want to but that's not very often.
I wonder if there's anyone in a drive-through line listening to this right now.
Just get out of the car, man.
Because most of the time, like you look and they just look fucking lazy and pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna wait here.
I think part of it too is like once you are in that line, you can't get out of it.
Usually, yeah.
You make that decision, you're locked. You're in that.
I don't really see anyone like second guessing them.
It's true.
They're just sitting there miserably.
Another good one is Dutch Bros. I don't know if you guys go there.
It's like a coffee.
Yeah, the coffee. Like that drive-through line gets fucking deep too.
Yeah, I don't get what it is about that place.
Isn't that place only, or do they have a walk-up?
I have no idea. I've never been.
But I hate it.
I'm just saying I drive past them all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
like super popular.
Like, now it's like a little game. Like I'll check, like, is it actually busy? Like, are there actually cars in there? It's like, yep, there always is.
There are.
Even if it's like 9 p.m. on a fucking like Thursday night.
I don't get it.
I gotta get my coffee.
Is it like truckers?
I have no. It's like regular fucking.
Is their coffee like amazingly good?
I don't know.
I think it's really shitty.
I don't know.
I think it's really
I know they have a lot of like milkshakes or like they're not actually coffee, they're like
I think they're just
something.
I think they just have a lot of like fun,
Italian
like
sodas or something
fun
stupid. Yeah.
kind of stuff. I don't know.
Remember in like Orange County they used to have those like bikini coffee places?
No.
They have a couple here.
They still have those?
Yeah, Pink Panthers. I think it's what it's called, right? Isn't it? There's one right by my work. It's
just like a coffee place.
It's a little like hut. It's like a drive-through coffee
It's just
place.
like a Hooters of coffee.
But it's just like the girl inside is wearing a bikini. Like
Are there guys too?
No,
Or just
it's like one girl. It's like a little tiny like hut. Like it's not even as big as this kitchen.
God, what a shit job.
You're essentially just like a bartender, but you get like one customer an hour probably. I don't know.
Yeah, but you have to dress well, whatever.
Yep.
That sucks. Shout out to anyone listening to this while working at Pink Panther. Sup. Okay, well, thanks for listening.
That is a solid way
I feel like we kept that relatively about cars. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed that little session. Thank you again to our patrons. If you're interested in being a patron, I think you should do it because it's a good old time. And we have behind the scenes stuff and whatever, but we also have another podcast.
Yeah.
We have a monthly exclusive podcast
They're
on
really
Patreon.
fucking good.
Yeah,
We were burning up our normal topic
we were
ideas.
just talking about how we're just like we're saving certain topics for that exclusive thing, and it's like, oh man, only like 60 people are listening to that one, but whatever, it's still a good time. Anyways, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you.
Bye.